I'll wait a couple more minutes, Stuart. So maybe just a couple more minutes, like 2 or 3 more minutes. Ellen's trying to get in, but she can't get the link.
She doesn't have the link? Oh, here she is.
There we go.
I just told her that it's on the website.
Awesome.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Well, it's on the homepage, it's on the monthly meeting page, it's on the Facebook page,
It's on the emails.
it's on the
That's
email.
wonderful. That
so,
makes
you
such
know.
a difference.
Hey, Caroline, this is Pete.
Hi, Pete.
The link on Facebook is incorrect.
Really?
Yes, I had to go to your website. I remember you told me it was chapters dot the website, and I found the link.
Okay.
Oh, good. I found it on there.
That's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It says invalid.
Huh.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know if you can go in there and update the link on Facebook.
Oh, let me try.
Edit.
Yeah, if you edit the link with the one that's on the website.
Huh. I'm gonna grab it right now. Oh, la, 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 la.
I'm gonna wait until 5 after, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start. Hopefully that's okay. Thanks for that update, Pete.
Oh, you're welcome.
Huh.
What's wrong in Facebook? Correct on website. Okay, well, hopefully we'll get that updated on our Facebook page, but I'll go ahead and welcome you to our April program. My name is Christy Scarazzo, and I'm the Vice President of our chapter. And before we get started, we're going to do a couple little announcements. The first one is that we have an event coming up this Sunday, which is the 26th. The event actually goes all weekend, but CMPS will be participating in the first ever Weed and Wildflower show. And it's going to be at the Agricultural Museum in Santa Paula. And we're going to have a little table there. And we're also going to do some plant collecting and display some live specimens in jars. And the time of that event, I believe, is from 12:30 to 4, if I'm not mistaken. After I finish with the intros, I'll put the flyer in the chat if anybody's interested. And you can also find out more information on our webpage and on our Facebook page. The other exciting news is that our spring plant sale is live. And that information is also available on our website and our Facebook page. And the plant sale is going to be open for online ordering until the 27th. And then we'll shut it down at that point. And the pickup is going to be scheduled for April 30th. and it's at the Ventura Botanical Gardens. So the time for those pickups is from 12 to 2 p.m. I'm also super happy to report that we are back in business in terms of our field trips, and we had a wonderful turnout last Saturday. We had 16 people, so that was a max capacity field trip, and it was really exciting to get together and get out and look at some plants. So stay tuned for our upcoming field trips because those are back on track. And then last but not least, we are still looking for a president. That board position is vacant. And if you have accounting abilities or inclined to financials, we're also looking for a treasurer. So if you or anybody else know somebody that might be interested, you can contact us and we'd love to talk with you more. And with that, I think I'm going to introduce our speaker tonight. So this is a really exciting talk on popular wildflower sites throughout Southern California. And our speaker is Stuart Wilson, the photographer extraordinaire. And Stuart lives in Santa Barbara County, and he attended the Brooks Institute. And his photographs have been published in many, many books and magazines. I have this book right here, and I'm sorry that my light is rather dim, but this is a lovely natural history book, and I have actually used it for work several times. So if you're interested in the natural history of Santa Barbara County, I highly encourage you to get this book. It's just lovely, and you can see that it's laden with Stuart's photographs. And he's about to be publishing another book on the lupins of California. And that's in cooperation with Teresa Scholars. And she wrote the treatment in the Jepson manual on the genus Lupinus. So that is very, very exciting that it's forthcoming. And we all look forward to seeing that. And with that, I'll turn it over to our speaker. So let's give a warm welcome to Stuart Wilson.
Well, thank you so much, Christy.
You're welcome.
Your wonderful introduction. And yes, Teresa, she studied lupins her entire life, her whole entire career. And she just finished classifying all the lupins for the upcoming flora of North America. So while she was doing that, she discovered that there were some discrepancies in our state lupins that had to be corrected. And so there are some changes that are coming out. I think they're already on eFlora online. But anyway, something to look forward to in our book, which I hope will be coming up this year, printed this year, we'll see. I've been, well, first of all, it's kind of like preaching to the choir to talk to, native plant people about local wildflowers. But, I hope everybody can take home something new from it. We'll see. I've been photographing for, years and years. And so this is a collection of many years of wandering around our area. So I wanted to start close to home, which would be the Channel Islands. And definitely the Anacapa is the showiest place to see wildflowers in the spring. My first photo here is from the middle island, Frenchie's Cove. And that was taken on April 1st, 2008. And I'll give you dates on these. They, obviously they're mostly middle March to middle of April is pretty much the bloom period that we're seeing. And then of course, this is on the East Island of Anacapa. The previous one, it was a regular trip out there, which I went on. It was a school trip, but I went on just as a separate observer because I was interested in checking out the tide pools. It was going to be a minus tide while we were out there. And it was okay. It wasn't spectacular, but it was really fun to be out there anyway. And this was certainly a good year on the East Island. This was 2009. And then this one was 2013 with the fog rolling in and out. And of course, our beautiful Northern Islands tree mallow, which is endemic out there. One of our more beautiful mallows. And then this is another shot out there. This was from 2015. And, you know, during the period where they were ranching, they were raising sheep out there. And then later they had cattle. The natural fauna was, or flora was pretty much just right around the edges. So you'd find it down on a cliff face like that, but up on the flatter sections, it would all be pretty much eaten bare. So it's wonderful to see everything coming back. This was this year at Scorpion Cove, and you know, it wasn't a great year out there, but the island morning glory did extremely well. So that's what you're seeing across the fields there, along with, I think that's mustard up on the top of the hill there. Here's a little better view of it. That was, let's see, that was March 8th. So next place that I'll hit here is Figueroa Mountain. And of course, this is Grass Mountain, which is often a very showy spot if it's been a wet year. This was in 2016, actually. And then, of course, Figueroa Mountain, being a lover of lupins, I just really love going up there and seeing the albaprons in bloom, the big bush lupins. Just really exceptional, along with, of course, this Nanus or sky lupin. That's on that one showy hillside that's always in bloom if it's a good year at all. And that was on April 1st, 2010. And then, of course, early spring, we get the beautiful shooting stars. So next spot is Bates Canyon. Well, actually, it's Cottonwood Canyon. That's the name we usually go by. And I'm sure you all know how to get there. You take, easiest way is to take 166 from Santa Maria. And so this one was April 13, 2010, where we had the snow plus the wildflowers, which was really fun. And this plant I photographed the same year in 2010. And I don't know what it is. Can anybody tell me? Does anybody know? Okay.
It looks like some kind of Camisoniopsis, you know, in the Onagraceae.
Uh-huh.
So it's one of the segregates. You know, it was divided into a million different things, but what used to be Enothera back in Munns, and now it's been divided into like 6 different genera.
Okay. Okay. So it is in Camisonia though?
It might be Camisoniopsis, Camisonia. I mean, there's like 5 different segregate genera. I can look it up for you afterwards.
Okay.
If you send me, yeah.
Okay. It was a pretty tall plant, and standing by itself, I haven't seen it before, so it's a little unusual. Okay. And then here's more from Cottonwood Canyon. This was also in 2010, as was this one. I think that's a little bit of let's see, what is that? Blue dicks in the foreground? Or thistle sage, maybe. And then cream cups. That was 2019. That was a really, really good year. And this also, these, I don't know if anybody knows Dennis Sheridan or Marlon Harms. Marlon is on the right, Dennis is on the left, and then Richard Neidhart is in the center. Marlon is a very active plant photographer up in the San Luis area. He had a big part in the little guidebook to Wildflowers of San Luis Obispo. Many of his photographs are in that. And another one looking across, you get a little view of Caliente Range there. And now this is on in Cuyama Valley on 166 heading east. And again, you got a little bit of snow up there. And yeah, that was the same year in 2010 with a great bloom of lupins there, foreground. And then same time, and this is looking north at the, oh, take it back here. That's the Sierra Madre Mountains there with the snow. And then this is the Caliente Range here. So then we get to the Carrizo Plain, and there's a photograph from the overlook. That's always a great spot to view it. And then I assume everybody knows about Hurricane Road. That's a wonderful spot to see the what's it called? The Desert Candle. And then we'll go up Selby Road, past Selby Campground up to Caliente Ridge. So that's from the overlook. And that was a beautiful day. You know, you don't get those kind of clouds every day. So that was in 2017, actually. And then this was in 2009. And I wanted to catch the sunrise. So I, you know, got up in Santa Barbara at whatever, 4 o'clock and drove up, went through Ojai and took Highway 33. Is that it? 33, yeah. And then that way it's about a 2.5 hour drive for me to catch the sunrise up there. And that was the same time. Okay, wait. What's going on here? I'm not advancing. Okay, let's try that. Fiddle neck with beautiful backlighting. And San Joaquin blazing star. Sometimes you see big patches of that up there in Carrizo Plain. And it's always a treat in a good year to see this. From a distance, it looks like there's a lake out there, but it's actually Great Valley Phacelia ciliata, just a vast, many acres of it. And that's the Tembler Range behind it. Here's a closer view. And the Carrizo Plain has vernal pools in a good year. I haven't, you know, I've been interested in photographing the fairy shrimp or brine shrimp, which you can find up there, but I have not found them in these vernal pools. I found them in ditches along the road, and of course they're in the lake, Soda Lake, but that's very hard to reach because of the very muddy edges. And I've gone up there and photographed the vernal pools over a sequence, like every 3 weeks. One year I did that just to show their, as they dry up and the flowers, the plants kind of move in. It's not like you get different plants, but they do seem to progress inward as it dries up. And let's see, I think it's called leafy stem stickweed. And that was in 2017. And tidy tips. And then I have a couple of photos here of the Tembler Range, right near the Hurricane Road. This was in March 28, 2016. And then this one was April 5, 2017. So same hillside, you can see, like, there's certain patches that, like right there, this area here, whoops, is still right there. But obviously it's from a different angle. And then there's the desert candle. That was in 2017, as was this one. So that's up in the Tembler Range, looking toward the Calientes. And then the thistle sage, this, of course, they come in later. As you can see, the other grasses around are drying out. And so this was April 20, and then again, that was in 2010, and then April 17, 2019. And owl's clover. Perry's mallow. So now this is on the road to Caliente Peak from Selby. Well, you go past Selby Campground, it's on that road. And this was April 17, 2019. And then this was a similar view, same day. And then from up on top, looking toward the Caliente, toward the Tembler Range. And then my friends from Morro Bay, they always tell me about Shell Creek. And if it's good, I'll stop there too. It means you have to go out the north end of Carrizo Plain, and then, plenty of people, I guess, actually do go back that way. They just stay on 58 back to 101 and then go south. And Shell Creek, sometimes even when there's not much going on in the Carrizo Plain, you can still have a nice year at Shell Creek. This was my friend Isabel Green. She's a landscape architect here in Santa Barbara, and she and I went up there one year. That was in when was that? I'm not sure when it was. So next, Antelope Valley, and of course, to get there, you go up I-5. You take the 138 exit just before their next exit is Gorman. You take 138. You can't head east, and I found either 300th Street or 260th Street. Those are both pretty good streets, because the best area to go is up here on this the south-facing slope of the Tehachapi Mountains, which is the southern edge of the Tejon Ranch. Obviously, you've got the Poppy Preserve there, but that's a mob scene, and the place to go is up there on the other side. And you can tell if it's good. You can look across the valley and see it. So this I took in film days, actually, and I don't remember exactly which year, but it was going up like 300th Street, and you come to a gate or a fence, and it says, private keep out Tejon Ranch, and I climbed the fence. So this is up on the ranch, actually, and I have not seen a repeat of this spectacular bloom. This is Lupinus albifrons variety Ostromontanus, and have not seen a repeat of that. This is broad-flowered Gilia. Again, that's on the north side of the valley. And then here you get a little of everything. Lots of poppies, gold fields up there. So these were taken in 2019. And I mean, this beats any, any bloom at the poppy preserve, in my opinion. And then here's a lupin that you can find in the Antelope Valley. This is Formosus variety robustus. There's two Formosus varieties. This one has larger flowers and a little larger diameter stem. And this is one of the few, it might be the only lupin that grows from a rhizome. And this is actually the same plant, same flower, same variety, and that was shot with film, and that's digital. So, the film, I was using Fuji Velvia film, which kind of over exaggerates colors, and especially in the purples, it's really struggled with purples. But this was a fantastic year. Lots of rain, even while we were up there, we had rain with a beautiful rainbow. And that was right near Highway 138 and 300th Street. I could see it from 138, and that's what caused me to stop. Since then, I've searched that same area, and as near as I can tell, it's been civilized. There's a house there, it's been plowed, it's just, it's gone. I don't think it's coming back. Okay, so now we'll try Anza-Borrego State Park. And one of the things that we enjoyed about Anza-Borrego is that you can stay at Julian. Julian is this little mountain town. I don't know if it started off as a gold mining town or what, but it's got a little bed and breakfast, and there's a little hotel there. And seems like their specialty is apple pie. They have a lot of apple orchards right around there too, but in the springtime, they don't have the apples. But so we stayed there, and then again, got up before dawn and drove down, probably this way, down to the visitor center. And you go past the campground, and there's a parking lot there, and then you can hike up Palm Canyon, and that's the real spectacular place to go. Plus, of course, out in the flat here, out in these areas, you get a nice bloom, and it just depends on the year. And it's spotty. It can be wet in one spot and dry in another. So this is going up Palm Canyon. We usually see the bighorn sheep there too while we're there. And Washingtonia, fan palm. Beaver tail cactus. And the Ocotillo was doing well that year. That was in, let's see, what year was that? 2017. That was another good year. And then this was 2015 out in the flatter area. And I think that's just desert chicory. So, okay, the next spot that I always try to hit in the springtime is Fort Hunter Liggett. You go up Highway 101 and take the Holone Road exit. That's just after Camp Roberts, and follow that along. And you let's see, how does it go? Yeah, you take this road, Mission Road, takes you onto the base. I think right about there, here is the beginning of the base. And it used to be you had to show registration and driver's license and all that, insurance. But now they've fenced off the main cantonment area. And so to get into that area, you still have to go through the security check, but otherwise you don't. And we've stayed up there at the lodge, which used to be the Hearst Hunting Lodge, and it's now called the Hacienda. And it's run on a very loose basis. The only contact you make usually is by phone. You may never see an actual person. They'll assign you a room. You get there and you find that room and the keys in the door, and they offer like a muffin for bed and breakfast. So they offer coffee and a muffin in the morning. There's no dinner. So if you want to have dinner, you'd have to drive over to King City or bring your own. And they do have barbecues there. And the rate is very reasonable. They have like 3 levels of rooms. There's the cowboy rooms, which have a bathroom down the hall. And it's not a hall, it's an open breezeway. There are some rooms that have bathrooms. And then there's one or two large rooms in the primary second story part of the lodge, which would accommodate more people. So there's that to do. There is the Mission San Antonio, which is open. It's in a private conservatorship. I don't think they have. I don't think it's an official church. And you can camp if you follow this road. It takes you outside of the base, which would be, I guess, this dotted line here. Not sure, but once you're outside the base, oh no, it's this line, I bet. So once you're outside of that line, it's dispersed camping. You can camp anywhere in here. There's a beautiful river. You can camp along the river. There is a campground. And I have stopped to take pictures in here on the base and actually been challenged by MPs. But that was before they changed the security system. So it may not be an issue now, but the entire base is Valley Oak woodland. And aside from armored vehicles driving around chewing up things, which I think they stay on trails pretty much. But aside from that, it's in pristine condition, and it could be the largest Valley Oak woodland that's still existing in the state. I don't know, but that's just a guess. It's just beautiful. And then also you can take this road here, the Nacimiento Ferguson Road, which takes you up over the Santa Lucia Mountains. You get up to the top and you get a spectacular view down into the Big Sur coast. So anyway, that's another highlight. And if the road's open, if it hasn't washed out, you can even make a circular route there and then come back by way of Highway 1. So here's the Mission. I attended a wine tasting there one time. It was a fundraiser with a lot of the local vineyards presenting their wines. So here's the beautiful Valley Oak woodland and vast fields of Nanus lupin, sky lupin. And this little creek is up near the campground. And that area is called the Indians. And this was a good spot to find pond turtles, garter snakes, frogs, all kinds of cool stuff. And here's Harlequin lupin. And we found this one enormous patch of it. I think it's on road number 3. So if you ever go up there and you want to find them, look for road number 3. That's after you leave the base and you're headed toward the Indians. Whoops, where did I go? Let me go back here. There we go. Okay. And in the same area, this is slender lupin, Lupinus benthamii. Quite a bit of that on the base. And here's a shot of the hacienda at night. So some of the rooms that have the bathrooms are along here. I think the cowboy rooms are down the hall that way. Go down this way and then turn right. And then the largest rooms are down at the far end there. And there is a dining room and a bar, which they may open when there's a big training exercise or something. I don't know, but typically it's never open. But it's a very cool place to stay. It's a step back in time. It's just the way Hearst would have left it when he deeded it to the Army. And I guess that was, during World War II. And then this is up on top, just as you come up over the lip and looking down into Big Sur Coast. And of course, today it was completely sucked in with fog. And a very windy, steep road that takes you back down to 101. And then here's a shot of Hirsutissimous stinging lupin on Highway 101. So let's see, then I'm going to just kind of finish up here with the Mojave Preserve. And there are like so many places, especially in the desert, you can have a rainy year in one spot and bone dry somewhere else. And so you just have to watch all the wildflower hotlines to see where you should go. But one spot we like to go is Kelso Dunes. You can camp there. And then also Amboy Crater. And here's Interstate 40. And it's just south of there is where Amboy Crater is. And then this is I-15 here. And here's Baker. So that's on your way to Vegas. If you're in Baker, you're on your way to Vegas. And there's this 15-mile grade, which many RVs meet their fate there in the summer. They're running their air conditioner and they're driving up this 15-mile long grade and things overheat. And before you know it, the thing's on fire. So you see a big black burn spot along the side of the road. That's where some RV met its fate. So these are the desert. Let's see, these are the dune evening primrose. And that's Kelso Dunes. A little bit of San Verbena there. And then that's the other evening primrose, the common evening primrose. And I really enjoy photographing insects, so I had to toss in a couple here. This is it's a Meloid beetle. He's a desert beetle. He's got this real kind of protruding hump, which is kind of hollow. It's like it's a Meloid beetle. He's got a long, slender abdomen, but this hump, kind of distinguishes him. And they're out eating. As you can see, he's got pollen smeared on him here. They're out eating pollen from those poppies and other spring flowers. And then this is a sphaecid wasp, and their claim to fame is they they find a caterpillar, they sting it, and then with those large mandibles, they drag it, or if it's not too big, they can fly with it to a burrow and drag it down into the burrow, lay an egg on it, and then the caterpillar, which is parasitized, or no, it's paralyzed, the caterpillar will consume it. I'm sorry, the larva of the wasp will consume the caterpillar. So this guy here is sleeping. That's how she sleeps. She tucks her abdomen up against her wings and grips the stalk with her mandibles. And so here's looking out from the top of Kelso Dunes. And this was taken in, let's see, March 4 of 2020. So that was during lockdown, and we have a trailer. We go out camping every year, and we did it that year too. But there were other people there, and there were two of the really tall dunes, and everybody went up to the tallest. And this one, which is only slightly less tall, had nobody on it, so there were no footprints. And so as a photographer, I was very happy about that. As the sunset approached, I was able to catch some nice photos here. And then that's looking down from the top of Kelso Dunes to the little camping area. And our camper is actually right behind that tree. There was somebody else camped. And that's our rig there. So I just wanted to end with a few suggestions for better photography. And I mention it only because in working on our Lupin book, there were a few cases where my photographs did not show what Teresa wanted to show, or just maybe I misidentified or whatever. And so we searched for photos online at Cal Photos, Cal Flora, and we found plenty to choose from, but frequently they weren't very good quality. And so I just wanted to point out a few things to improve your photos. And this is just for a factual portrait of the plant kind of photograph. If you can get down so you're on its level. So here, my eye level would be about in here probably. And it more represents the plant. You get a better view of the, are the leaflets colleen, or do they also grow from the base, and things like that. And here's another example. Get down low. And with modern digital cameras, or even with cell phones, you've got an LCD screen. So you can actually view, even though you're not laying on your belly, you can still view the plant. With a camera, you can flip the screen so you can view it. My camera does not flip, the screen doesn't flip. And so I use this right angle finder. And so then I'm on my knees, I'm looking down, but I'm not lying on the ground. And then something else to watch for is if you shoot a vertical like this, or like the last ones, check it, top and bottom, and see if it's sharp everywhere, because it's more difficult, but that's what, a good photograph really needs. And of course, you want to isolate your subject from the background. So like in this case, the background is blurry, it's out of focus. And let's see, if I go here, let's see, there. So that was at f9, and I'm shooting at 100 millimeters. So it's kind of like a medium telephoto view, and I'm not stopped down all the way. And then this one, of course, the same thing. The background in this case is farther away, and I'm, so I can throw it out of focus so it doesn't compete with your subject. And here again, the background is out of focus. I've gotten down low and try to get as much as I can, the subject in a plane where it's more or less all in focus. And sometimes the habitat is important for identification. So this is Lupinus polyphyllus, variety polyphyllus. And it always grows near water. And so I thought, well, I should include the water here then for sure. And because polyphyllus has many leaflets, you want to show the leaflets too. In this case, I didn't show the full plant, but these are the things that help identify it. And this one was Lupinus guadalupensis from San Clemente Island. And I was able to get a ride out there with the naturalist, and I'm forgetting his name right now, but the naturalist who's in charge of the island, he monitors everything that goes on out there. And so he took me out there so I could photograph this lupin, because this is the only place it's found in the US. It's also found on Guadalupe Island off of Baja. And in this case, it was a very gray, overcast day. And so I turned my flash on so that it would stand out from the background. That's something to consider on these things. And this one is elatus, Lupinus elatus, the silky lupin, which is up near Wrightwood on, I think that's Highway 2 up on the top of the San Gabriel Mountains. And so here there were many plants. So I tried to find one with dark background and no other clutter in the picture. I should, in retrospect, I should have removed these sticks down here, but I didn't. And this is one, it's polyphyllus. Teresa recently assigned it to polyphyllus. It was Lupinus saxosus. Now it's Lupinus polyphyllus variety saxosus. And this is one of the ones that we found better pictures. Mine had already pretty much finished blooming. And here I took this one without a flash, and then this one I used a flash, which did light up the foreground, but of course the whole thing seems washed out. And so let me just, if I could, walk through the process. I use Lightroom. So if I go up here to develop mode, let's see if I can do this. I can move that, okay. So in develop mode, I hope you can see this also. First thing to do is in the tone is just click on auto. And that adjusts things quite a bit. Improves the color, contrast, pulls down highlights, lightens shadows. And then the whole thing still might be a little too bright. So, you could darken it down a little bit here. And then I'd push up saturation just a little bit, maybe up to around in here, 16. And then I want to crop it. So let's go up here to crop. And I keep the same format here, I guess. So pull in the sides. I want to show the whole base. All right, something like that, maybe. Actually, I might make it a little more square, take it out of the standard format just a little bit. Okay. And then the other thing that's important is to go to vignetting. If you use Lightroom, it's easy to vignette. So you darken the edges. And it really brings your eye into the subject. And then this one is the same story. It's the same plant, same species. Same thing if I do auto, maybe reduce exposure just a little bit. Vignetting, and you don't want to vignette too much. You don't want the sky to go crazy. but you just want to bring the eye in, maybe like that, and then maybe just lighten it just a little bit. So anyway, so that's, and actually, I forgot, I took two. That was without flash, and then this was with flash. And so I did the same thing. If I just hit previous, it'll give me, yeah, still a little too bright. Anyway, so those are the kinds of things that you can do to improve your photos. And here I'm just talking about, just record shots, portraits of the plant. And so that's the end of the slideshow, unless you have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Invariably, when I go out and shoot flowers or whatever, I forget key things like leaves.
Uh-huh.
Do you have kind of a like a shot list? Like if you're not, this is kind of like a beauty shot that you have up, but if do you take the same thing, like the leaf and where the flower joins the leaf and the underside and all that kind of stuff?
I do that quite a bit, especially with lupins. If you key a lupin, what's the first thing you do? You get out your hand lens and you dissect the flower, and so I always do that. I'm getting a lot of feedback here for some reason, but so I try to I strip away the wings and I photograph the keel. I try to photograph the back of the unopened flower to get the banner back to show if it's hairy or glabrous. And yeah, I do try to photograph the leaf, both upper and lower surface. And frequently you can get that in another shot, so yeah, definitely those kinds of things. And the other thing I do is I carry, they call it like a hood man. It's like a thing you put over your LCD screen, and it's got a magnifier. And I've got one of those. I put it around my neck, and so that it's always there. And so I'm reminding myself to always check and make sure that what I want is in focus, because like if you have an autofocus camera, your little cursor, it could be looking at a tree back out of the frame almost, and so it's hard to, you're doing so many things all at once, you may not notice that till you get home. So that's the kind of thing I do.
And one more question, because it was windy the other day on the hike at the very end in the afternoon. What do you have a go-to technique? Do you just have a certain shutter speed and then you?
Yeah. Was it super windy?
Yeah, it was pretty windy.
Yeah, that's the hardest. Well, sometimes I get somebody to act as a windbreak. If I have my backpack, I've got a reflector that'll pop open and help me block the wind. And you can sometimes, if you're patient, you just sit there with your finger on the shutter release, and every time you think it's about to stop or did stop, take a picture. And yeah, you have to push your shutter speed up. And of course, now with our newer cameras, you can push up your ISO so that, if you have to, you can shoot at 500 or 1,000.
Yeah. I was trying. I grabbed a couple that were in the wind. I went, oh, those actually turned out okay. So
yeah, I'm often surprised. I'll take like 10, and turns out they all came out.
Right.
You
don't do like a burst or anything like that, or
no, I don't do a burst. I do them individually. Yeah. And the other thing, it just, if it's blowing, sometimes it'll blow so that it moves out of focus. So that's the other tricky thing to watch. And then, You know, I mean, if I'm serious about it, I've got a clamp. It's this thing I put my camera on a tripod, and then there's this thing that attaches to the tripod, and then it'll clamp onto the stem of the plant, and that'll stabilize it a lot better, you know. So if you really want to get serious, carry a clamp with you and a tripod.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I think there were some questions in the chat, maybe.
Oh. Oh my. Okay. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Here we have a genus, Aeromothera.
That's what
Okay.
Pete found that, and then
Great.
I
Okay.
looked it up on Calscape really quick.
Okay. Good. Boothii.
Maybe.
All
I
right.
don't know. I looked the
right.
closest.
Yeah. All right. Good. Thank you. Let's see. At Tejon Ranch. No, I don't believe it is. I don't believe they're planning to develop that south-facing slope. I'm not sure where it is, but I think it's more in the center of the ranch. And of course, it's only a very small percent of the entire ranch. You know, that's their selling point for doing it. Not that I agree with them, but you know. Let's see. And did I put this picture in my book? Unfortunately, I'm not sure which one it was. Anyone else lose audio? Oh gosh, I hope not.
Coming
So-
from the floor, are there any more questions for Stuart? Yeah, those tips are really cool. I can see there's definitely an art to it for someone who's not artistically inclined.
Yeah. It's
Hey,
fun.
Before we wrap up, I want to give a big round of applause. That was just lovely. I love the maps. I felt like I was going along right there with you. So that was really fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
And then very quickly before we wrap up, I just want to say my announcements again quickly for those that joined late. We have an event this Sunday. CMPS will have a booth at the Agricultural Museum in Santa Paula for the first ever weed and wildflower show. We'll have native plant specimens and also common weeds, and they'll be displayed in jars with names. And then also our plant sale is live. So you can find that information on our website or on our Facebook page. And you'll notice we've been updating things and field trips are happening. So thank you for joining us and stay tuned. And again, many thanks to Stuart.
Okay, thanks so much.
Mhm.
There we go. There we go. That's what I should have.
Beautiful.
Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you very much.